Hey, what's going on guys? Arekkz here and welcome back to another Monster Hunter World Iceborne video, and today I want to kick off our official Iceborne Monster Guide series where we're taking a look at everything you could possibly want to know about a given monster. Their ecology, their weaknesses, breakable parts, notable moves, tactics for fighting them, essentially your one-stop shop for all things relating to that monster. Hopefully this is something you guys enjoy and you want to see more of. As always, if it is, then be sure to let me know in the comments down below and let us know which monster you'd like to see next. But today, we're going to kick things off with a personal favourite of mine, a monster that has only recently made its way to the new world, the Super Saiyan ape, better known as Rajang. Rajang are actually very rarely seen in the wild. They typically lead a rather solitary, nomadic life, and it's said that few who encounter them ever live to tell the tale. Rajang are a species of fanged beast, strongly resembling their icy cousins, Blangonga, both in appearance and even with some of their attacks. Clearly identified by its ape-like appearance, intimidating large gold horns, small hairy tail, and enormous forearm muscles, Rajang is both incredibly strong and fast, which is why it makes for such a fearsome opponent. One of the more unique characteristics of this monster is its ability to power up, and in doing so, it will also alter its appearance. See, to begin with, Rajang have dark black fur all over, sharing many similar traits with that of gorillas. Meanwhile, when it becomes enraged and it powers up, its fur turns gold, its forearms harden and become even more powerful, and at this stage it becomes even more aggressive than before. Given their solitary lifestyle, Rajang have a tendency to attack on sight, so it's for sure a monster you need to be wary of. But when it's enraged, often referred to as its Super Saiyan state, this is when you need to be especially careful. For many years, there were rumours surrounding the origin of Rajang's power, and its ability to enter this enhanced state, many saying that this creature used to prey on the elder dragon Kirin, drawing power from its horn, but it wasn't until it set foot in the new world that we were able to witness this firsthand. When fighting a Rajang, there are really two main areas you want to be focusing on, and depending on how confident you are fighting this monster, then the target will differ. See, Rajang is weakest primarily at the head and the tail. All the weapons, be that blade, blunt or range, have 3-star ratings when attacking the head, and 2-star ratings when attacking the tail. You can break both of Rajang's horns, but keep in mind they are incredibly tough, so this can take some work. It is also possible to break the tail. Similarly, this is quite a challenge, and while you won't be cutting it off, breaking it is still worthwhile, not only for the associated rewards, but also because attacking the tail can help knock Rajang out of its enraged state. Furthermore, you can also break the arms, but keep in mind you'll largely speaking be doing this when it's not enraged, since when it enters the Super Saiyan state and fully powers up, you'll notice a distinct red glow to the arms. At this point, they become not only incredibly powerful, meaning you want to avoid being hit by them, but they also become rock hard, meaning your attacks will typically bounce unless you've either applied a weak spot or you're running Mind's Eye. Speaking of which, if you happen to grapple onto a Rajang, keep in mind that given its structure, when it comes to moving into position so that you can send it hurtling into a wall, you'll move up to its shoulders. You won't actually climb onto its head like most other monsters, so this is effectively the forwardmost position you can be in. In terms of elemental and ailment weaknesses, Rajang is a remarkably resistant creature to most things you throw at it, but it does have one glaring weakness in the form of ice. Ice is the best element you can bring to fight this thing, having a full 3-star weakness to this element. Your only other real option would be water at 1-star, but everything else, just leave it at home. As for the abnormal status, it does have a 2-star weakness to blast and 1-star to everything else, so while it isn't hugely susceptible to frequent abnormal statuses like some other monsters, that doesn't mean you shouldn't bring them. After all, the odd paralysis or sleep are a surefire way to calm this hyperactive ape down. Lastly, one important thing to keep in mind when hunting this beast is when you can and cannot use traps. Rajang is a cunning monster, and depending on the form you're fighting it, it is capable of destroying both pitfall and shock traps. When Rajang is not enraged, in other words in its default dark black fur form, then your only option here are shock traps. Placing a pitfall trap will see it get destroyed when Rajang simply walks over it. Meanwhile, when it enters its enraged state, this swaps. See, when it's enraged, it can actually destroy shock traps, but this actually happens in two forms. At first, it enters its default enraged state, gold fur, and then walking over shock trap will see it pin for a moment and then it will break free. Meanwhile, if it is in its fully enraged state and the arms are glowing red, it will actually pick up the shock trap and smash it in its hands. A rather menacing and quite frightening attention to detail, showing just how powerful this beast is. As mentioned earlier, when it comes to fighting Rajang, you really have two main options: attack the head or attack the tail. If you're not confident against this fearsome beast, then generally speaking, one of the safest places to be is by its hind legs. A lot of Rajang's aggression is directed in front of it, so if you spend a large amount of time towards its back, you can actually avoid being hit pretty easily. That being said, there will come times where you want to attack the head, especially if you're going for those horn breaks. So let's take a look at some of the most notable attacks and what you need to look out for to avoid them. First up, you have the body slam. Rajang can perform this attack both in regular and enraged form. It's pretty easy to read and in turn avoid, but the main thing to watch out for with this attack isn't really the hit itself, it's the tremor that follows. You will find more often than not that getting caught in this tremor is what results in you getting hit straight after, not so much the body slam itself. Still, if you see Rajang raise up onto its hind legs, raising its forearms, this is the sign it's about to slam. Either a well-timed dodge or a quick Superman dive can get you away. Another signature move for this fearsome beast is the flurry of punches. With this, Rajang will begin swinging its fists in an alternating fashion. Left, right on repeat. It does this whilst moving forward, so typically with this, you want to evade to the side. Keep in mind that this is one of Rajang's faster moves, and it can often transition straight into this attack following a jump or a reposition, so if in doubt, roll to the side. The next move to watch out for is the spinning clothesline attack. With this, Rajang will spin towards you with its arm outstretched and will typically catch you in a wide sweeping arc. A couple of things to note with this move. Firstly, the attacking or the clothesline arm is always the right arm, and given the sweeping arc, Rajang will always attack to the left, so you can just simply roll to his right side to avoid this. In rare cases, Rajang can chain these back to back, so stick to his right side and you'll normally be safe. As for the tail, in a similar manner to the body slam, Rajang will raise up onto its hind legs before performing this. The main difference, however, is that for the body slam, he raises his arms above his head. Meanwhile, for the clothesline, his arms are raised to chest height, so that is how you can tell the difference. The laser beam is one of Rajang's powerful and most iconic attacks. This too can be performed in regular and enraged states, and this will see Rajang fire a huge golden beam in a straight line across the screen. Unlike some other monsters with beam attacks, Rajang's is static, it won't move it mid-animation, so provided you roll to the left or to the right, it's pretty easy to avoid. Much like the body slam and the clothesline, the cue for this will see Rajang again stand on its hind legs, the mouth will begin glowing, and its arms will be raised into a power stance. This is your window to roll. Additionally, while not as devastating as the laser beam, Rajang does also have the ability to fire out small, Hadouken-like energy balls from its mouth. This is typically a lot quicker and is designed to pick off hunters from afar. For this, you'll see Rajang leap into the sky, scrunch up as if it's performing a mid-air crunch, and fire out a small energy projectile. If you're close to the monster, then this will typically never hit you, but if you're further away, then again, stepping to the side is usually your way out. Something else you want to watch out for is Rajang's grapple. This is a pretty quick move, and if you're directly in front of it, then it's quite easy to get caught. For this, Rajang will reel backwards slightly, opening its arms wide, sort of like a bear hug, and it will then lunge forwards. Provided you roll, you can actually avoid this pretty easily, but if it does grab you, then Rajang will typically throw you against the nearest wall, and follow this up with a powerful punch. If not avoided, that will usually result in your death. Do note, however, that during this punch, there is a pretty hefty wind-up animation, and you do have a window to simply roll out. Alternatively, if you have something like a flash equipped, you can also flash the monster to interrupt it, so your fate isn't sealed the moment he grabs you. There is also the signature Rajang yo-yo slam that you want to watch out for. This is another fast move, and it will see Rajang leap into the sky and come hurtling down to your location like a spinning yo-yo. Thankfully, this is just a regular Rajang. Furious Rajang does this 3 times back to back, but at least for now, we don't have to worry about that. Similar to the laser ball attacks, the tell for this is Rajang jumping into the air, but for this he jumps considerably higher, so if he goes out of your view, then run, roll or dive. Just don't stand in one place. And then finally, the last move you need to watch out for, and probably Rajang's most powerful attack. This one is only performed when it's in its absolute enraged state with glowing red arms. Rajang will once again leap into the sky and slam down on your location, creating a devastating explosion. It's got a pretty wide radius, so if you're anywhere near and you're not on 100% HP, there's a good chance that you're a goner. Of course, the safest way to avoid this is to simply be nowhere near in the first place, or simply to Superman dive. To tell for this, we'll see Rajang roar in place, it'll then slam its fist into the ground, launching itself upwards, at which point you have a very small window before he comes crashing down on you. So act fast, or die. In conclusion, Rajang is, without question, a fearsome addition to the Iceborne roster. A monster that is equally fast and strong, capable of going toe-to-toe with some of the toughest, most brutal monsters out there. It's for sure worthy of the tales that people tell. But if you're fighting it and having a hard time, pay attention to some of those key tells to avoid getting hit by the worst attacks, and if in doubt, attack it from the back, and you should, most of the time, be alright. I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and also click on the little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss my next upload. Also, don't forget you can check out 269 and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. Be sure to drop by and get involved. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.